Do you have any memories of your grandmother?
Yes, my grandmother, on my dad's side, my dad's mother, after her husband died, my grandfather, she was kind of lonely, and so they decided, well, maybe I could go and go and visit her and spend the year with her.
Oh.
And so I was about 12 years old then, and so they put me on the train, and I went up. They lived in Ashland, and that's about 300 miles from where I lived. So I went on the train all by myself.
Wow.
And it was a day's trip, of course. And then when I got there, my grandmother, it was school time, so she enrolled me in school, and I got started in school. And before the second week was up, they had to ship me back home again because I was so homesick.
Oh.
Oh, that didn't work out at all. Because, well, there was a girl next door that lived next door to my grandmother, and we played together, but at night when I'd go to bed, then I'd think of home, and
Yeah.
I'd get sick and I'd cry, and
Oh.
so I guess that was it. That didn't work.
Oh.
And but she was, I never knew her too well because we lived so far apart. We only got to see them I don't know how many times. But then my mother's mother, the only thing I can remember about her is that she'd had a stroke and she was in the wheelchair. And we had kind of a family reunion because she wasn't doing too well, so all of the family got together, and that's how I remember her, as being in a wheelchair, but I never got to know her very well.
How about your grandfathers?
My grandfather, he was more of he was a very quiet man. My dad's dad, he was quiet, and I know he came to visit us one time, and but I never got to know him too well. But he was, I guess, he was a cabinet maker. He worked in a mill shop or woodworking shop, whatever it was in those days. And then my mother's father, he was how would I describe him? Kind of a stern fellow. Never showed much emotion, but I know in his later life he would sit by the window, in his kitchen window, and he'd look out and he'd say, "Yep, it's going to rain today. Yep, it's going to be a nice day." That's what I can remember him doing. But I never did get to know any of my grandparents real well, being so far away from them.
Yeah.
But they were all good people, they were good grandparents.
What was it like when you were a teenager? Did you have a kind of music that you listened to?
Oh, I suppose so. I can't remember.
How about movies? Did you go to the movies?
Oh, yeah, we had movies. We had 3 movie houses. We called them movie houses in those days in our town, and they were quite ornate. They used to make these movie houses that very fancy, and so they were. I'm trying to think of what the names are. One was the Elite Theater, and one was the Rio, and one was the I can't remember the name of the other one. But we would go on Saturday afternoons as kids, and they'd always have series, You'd go one week, and then they'd have another episode the next week. So we'd get in. It was about 10 cents to get into the movies, and so we used to go to the movies quite often. And then I remember as a teenager, Gone with the Wind had just come out.
Oh.
And my girlfriends and I, we skipped school one day and went to see Gone with the Wind. And I don't know if we really enjoyed it because we always kept thinking that the truant officer would come and check the theaters to see if we were there. But that was one of the movies that I remember the most. But it was fun to go to the movies.
What was a fun night out when you were a teenager?
The what?
What was a fun night out? Like, what did you guys like to do when you were teenagers?
Well, we'd get on our roller skates and we'd skate downtown and we'd go into the soda shop and we'd have these hot fudge sundaes.
Oh.
And that was a fun night for us, just to get out and go downtown. And I think that's about the fun that we used to have.
Yeah. Do you remember who your very first date was?
My first date?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name? Oh, I think his name is Matt Becker, I think. Yeah. And I went with him for a little while. Nothing serious. But I played the piano in those days, and you're talking about music. This was when I was in high school. And then he'd always bring me sheet music for the piano of the popular songs that we were playing and listening to in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked to go bowling. And so he bought me a pair of bowling shoes.
Oh, wow.
And he was always coming with something, because I think he had a feeling that I didn't really care for him that much.
So he was trying to bribe you?
Yeah, I think so. But he was one of my first dates.